And police want some help identifying two women who they say are suspects in a Buckhead larceny investigation. According to police, the man met the two women and brought them to where he lives. He told investigators that he was drugged, and when he woke up, the women were gone, along with several wristwatches worth more than $25,000. Police are now asking anyone who may know those women to give them a call.